Well, good evening. And yeah, wow. It's good to see all of you out in the audience, and I just want to thank you all for being here, as well as our online community out there in cyberspace somewhere. We welcome you as well. Today is Tuesday, March the 25th, 2024, and the time is 6:02. The meeting is called to order. Mr. Caden Simmons, is he here? Come on up. Mr. Caden has agreed to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, so we're going to ask everybody to stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please pause for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, sir.
Caden, we want to thank you for taking the time along with your parents to say the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. So we want to just present you with a certificate of our appreciation. So if you will, I want you to stand out in the middle with our superintendent. Caden, let's give him another round of applause. Caden is one of our fine students at JES. So thanks again, Caden, very good.
Okay, at this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda for Tuesday, March the 25th, 2025.
I move that motion to approve the agenda for tonight.
Okay. Second it. Okay, the motion has been properly made by Ms. Blackshear and second by Mr. Rouse. The motion is to approve the agenda for today, March 25th, 2025. All in favor, raise your hand. Motion passes unanimously. Now, you've all had an opportunity to read the minutes, I trust, for March 11, 2025. Are there any corrections? If there are no corrections, then the minutes stand approved as distributed. Ms. Blackshear?
Thank you. I will say the ethics statement. In accordance with regulations set forth by the Georgia Ethics Commission, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflict of interest and interest of such conflict. Does any board member have any known conflicts of interest scheduled or appearing on our proposed agenda? Seeing none, Mr. Chair, we will proceed with our agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Blackshear. This time, do any of the board members have any comments they'd like to make?
I would like to make a comment. Good evening, everyone. I would like to personally thank JES, the Twiggs County Middle High School, Dr. Bullard and the Central Office, and Greater New Hope Baptist Church for all the gifts they have given me during Board Member Appreciation Week. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. I think that come from all of us. We was really surprised, really happy. Board Appreciation Week, y'all showed out Twiggs County Public School. We appreciate that for showing the love. Thank you. And to my church as well, Danville First Baptist. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'd like to say thanks to everyone for the gifts and the acts of love that was shown during Board Appreciation Week. Ms. Jenkins sitting there doing this. We'd like to thank the Miller High School for these shirts that we're wearing tonight. I also like to thank my church, Hickville Baptist Church, for the gift that I received. 'Cause I realize people don't have to do, this is a job that I asked to serve for, but I thank everyone for what they did. Thank you.
And I echo the very same sentiments. I'm thankful for everything that anybody did because kindness is a choice that people make. I'm thankful to the JES, to the middle and high school, to everyone, to the staff, to Dr. Bullock, everybody who made a part, and it really made us feel good and welcome. And also, I'm thankful for my church, Harvey Builder Worship Center, for everything that you guys did and anybody who played a part in it. Thank you.
Well, I tried to get around and thank everybody personally, but I didn't get to the board, so I want to thank you all, Superintendent, the board office staff, and all of you. And I want to say thank you to the Jeffersonville Elementary School and the Twiggs County Middle High School, just for saying, I don't know, thank you. And then I was pleasantly surprised at my church. I go to church in Warner Robins, but they shocked me. And so I've already expressed my appreciation to them, but again, so I think all of this passes unanimously. We say thank you, okay? Dr. Bullock.
Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, board members, you all are welcome. Greetings to everyone who is in attendance. Greetings to everyone, thank you, Mr. Basley, who's in attendance on tonight, face-to-face, and to those who are joining us virtually. I'm going to yield my superintendent comments to Dr. Griffin Stewart and Ms. Carla Denard. We have some presentations that we'd like to present on tonight. However, before Dr. Griffin Stewart starts, I want to remind our parents that the middle high school did send out a remind for you to complete a survey. That survey is very important for us to submit data from our parents and our community. So please take a look at your phone, go through those reminds that came from the middle high school and complete that parent survey that was sent out. And I also want to remind everyone in the community that next week is spring break, so the district office and all of the schools will be closed after Friday until Monday, April the 7th. So next week we'll be totally closed, the district office and all of the schools. So at this time, Dr. Griffin Stewart will come forward to present some awards for Science Olympiad.
Good afternoon, Chair Carr-Starfin, Vice Chair Rouse, board members, Superintendent Dr. Meg Buller, all of our stakeholders listening virtually and in person. It brings me great pleasure to recognize our Science Olympiad winners and participants. But before I can do that, we are a district with a vision and a mission. And our vision is generating excellence, one team, one goal. And our mission is to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. This short presentation is aligned to our strategic goals 1 and 2, learning and wellness for all, excellence ahead, academics, facilities, and opportunities. What is Science Olympiad? What's the purpose of it? Science Olympiad is an international nonprofit organization devoted to improving the quality of science education, increasing student interest in science, and providing recognition for outstanding achievement in science education by both students and teachers. How it works: students compete in teams of up to 15 members, preparing for and participating in events that require both knowledge of science concepts and practical application skills. The organization aims, again, to improve the quality of science education for K-12 students, increase students' interest in science, and recognize outstanding achievement in science education by both students and teachers. And then, of course, we live in a technological society, so we definitely want our boys and girls to be literate. I want to thank our sponsors in advance. Ms. Capice, Ms. Denard, and Ms. Ware serve as sponsors for our Science Olympiad students. So at this time, we want to call Ms. Denard forward. She's going to provide some additional information as a sponsor. Let's give her a round of applause for being one of our sponsors.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Middle Georgia RESA is in charge of our Regional Science Olympiad competition. It has been 6 years since Middle Georgia RESA has held a competition. Students from Jeffersonville Elementary had the opportunity to participate along with other schools within Middle Georgia in this year's competition, which was held on March 1st, 2025 at Perry High School. The competition consists of 18 events where 2 members compete in each event. The coordinator for the competition gave us permission to use just 1 team member in events if we did not have enough people. So 2 of our events only had 1 person competing. Each team is made up of 3rd through 5th grade, with only 5 5th graders allowed. There were 13 teams of 20 students that competed from other schools. However, we only had 15 students that competed due to illnesses. The events were made up of STEM activities as well as picture recognition in such events as Backyard Biologist, Starry Starry Night, and No Bones About It. Within the 13 teams, there are only 6 places awarded. Our students had a month to prepare. 7th through 13th place are not awarded. Placement in the top 6 is a huge accomplishment, especially since this was their first time. I will now recognize the following Science Olympiad winners. First place, Grab a Gram, Skylar Robinson and Lyric Jackson. The following winners were recognized as 6th place within the 13 teams. Gummy Bear Catapult, Johnny Williams, and Jemiah Williams.
All right.
Backyard Biologist, Connor Bowen, and Gavin Gainey. Starry Starry Night, Rodney Davis, and George Pitts. Egg Drop, Rodney Davis, and Creekland Plunkett. Barge Building, Skylar Robinson, and Lyric Jackson.
Got a hole in there.
All right, let's give these students another round of applause and congratulations.
Gosh, let's give our Science Olympiad students another round of applause. And parents, I want to thank you for making sure all this wouldn't be possible without you parents, our school leaders, teachers. It takes a village to raise a child, so thank you so much for being a part of our village. So we're moving on to the next category, and that's our Young Georgia Authors Competition. Our Young Georgia Authors, we're going to recognize this evening a district winner, as well as our Middle Georgia RISA second place winner. So, Board Chair, the mission and vision has already been established along with our strategic goals. So we're going to move to, what is the Young Georgia Authors Competition? The purpose of the Young Georgia Authors Writing Competition is to encourage students to develop enthusiasm for and expertise in their writing, to provide a context to celebrate their writing successes, and to recognize student achievement in arts and academics. This prestigious competition has been engaging Georgia students for more than 2 decades and is open to any student currently enrolled in Georgia's public schools, grades K through 12. The competition is sponsored by the Georgia Language Arts Supervisors and the Georgia RISA Network with support from the Georgia Department of Education. We start first at the school level, so it's a school competition first, and then we rate those writings, essays, poems, and then we come up with our first, second, and third place winners. But who we have this evening is our district first place winners. So without further ado, we're going to start with kindergarten through 12th grade. So when you hear your name called, please come forward. Students this evening, Ms. Reardon, if you would give me one of those medallions. Writing is just not an academic skill, it's a life skill. So this evening, we are so proud of our scholars for writing that they will get a writing medallion. So it's something that you can keep with you for the rest of your life, and we want you to definitely keep writing. So with that, we'll start with kindergarten. Bakari Morris. The title of his work, Water Slide. Good job, Bakari. And he's our kindergarten student. First grade, Anila Foreman, Mike's birthday. Our second grade student, Cadence Jenkins, the best day ever. Third grade, Khalil Lucas, the day I lost my best friend. Our fourth grade, Ralph Coker, the third, An Unsafe Planet. Congratulations, Ralph. And our fifth place student, Dazzlin Johnson, A Snow Day. Let's give our JES students another round of applause. Dr. Bullard, did you want to come down and take a picture with our JES students? Mr. Davis, any teachers who helped with the writing? Our students look so awesome, don't they? Oh, man. Let's give our students another round of applause. They look awesome. All right. Great job, JES. And we're going to call our Twiggs middle and high school students together. So if you're a middle schooler or a high schooler, come up when you hear your name called. Sixth grade, Naya Morton. Sea creatures of the shallow and deep. Naya Morton. Sarah Wright, different. Jordan Burney, tired. Jordan Burney, come on down, Jordan. We're moving on to the Twiggs County High School. Ninth grade, Leah Thickle, the time travel. 10th grade, Gracie L. Sasser, A Small Town. '11th grade, Alasia Height, third period, Alasia Height. And last but not least, our senior, our battalion commander of our JROTC program that just got exceed on our just recent review. And so Jada Finn, come on down to the groom. So Ms. Jenkins, all school leaders, Dr. Buller, if you all would come forward and take a picture. Let's give them another round of applause. So we are so proud of our JES, Twiggs County Middle, Twiggs County High School district winners for writing, because remember, writing is a life skill, so students continue to write. After we have our district winners, we send everything off from our district to Middle Georgia RESA. And in Middle Georgia RESA, that's where all the entries are entered into a competition with other districts. So we're in a network with the Bibb County Schools, Jones County Schools, Houston County Schools. So it's a lot of different schools in the network. And so we are rated on first, second, and third when we move forward with several other students. So I'm so happy and excited to announce that we had our 7th grade student, Sarah Wright, to win second place for 7th grade. So Sarah, I've been with you for a while. I want you to keep writing. Sarah has been writing for a long time. This young lady is destined to be an author one day. And so Sarah, we hope that you enjoy the goodies in that basket. Please, Ms. Jenkins, administration, please come forward. Dr. Bullard, come on down. Ms. Johnson, teachers. Let's give them another round of applause. So again, to our parents, our teachers, this day won't be possible without you. Board members, as always, thank you for your support. That concludes our student recognitions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Griffin Stewart. Students, you are amazing. We are very proud of you. Continue to shine and generate excellence. You are definitely doing that and demonstrating to the world how great you are. So continue to shine and shine in your gifts. Don't allow your gifts to go unnoticed. We're going to go ahead and move now into our business agenda. Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you all, and thank you, Dr. Bullock. Again, thank all you young people for your participation in all these activities. It's good for you. It's good for you. Y'all have a great rest of your day. You earned it. It's always good to see that. We give them time to disperse. All right, at this time, we will move into our business agenda. Again, we want to thank each one of you for attending tonight. And we'll hear from Dr. Bullock with the district request.
Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, board members, we do have a few district requests that we'd like your approval on tonight. These district requests do support our vision and mission to generate excellence, one team, one goal, and to inspire, challenge, and prepare all of our students to compete globally. We have field trips that we'd like your permission. You've already given permission for the 4-H competition in Perry, Georgia, which was held on the 22nd, this past Saturday on March. Thank you for allowing Mr. Pettaway, our 4-H advisor, and Ms. Capiste for taking those 18 students to compete in the 4-H competition. We ask your permission for the JES program for exceptional children, small group, to participate and travel to Cherry Blossom. And this is for the purpose of communicating information about basic plants and animals and understanding the safe and appropriate use of materials. Also, the JES celebration for all of those students who had perfect attendance, PBIS award winners, as well as honor roll, will be celebrated by JES through the communities and schools, as well by going to Urban Air Adventure Park in Macon, Georgia, and that'll be on the 28th as well from 9:15 to 1:30 p.m. And the third grade at JES, ask your permission to travel to the Macon Museum of Arts and Science, and that is to explore Georgia's animals, fossils, rocks, and minerals, and that'll be on the 9th of May. We also have a fundraiser that we'd like your approval on as well, and that's for the Twiggs County Middle High School track team, and they're going to have the ultimate kickball competition in the middle high school gymnasium, and the funds raised from that activity will be used to purchase track uniforms. This concludes our district request for this board meeting.
All right, thank you, Dr. Bullock. Can I get a motion to approve the superintendent's district requests and fundraiser activities?
I move to approve the district requests and fundraisers.
Second.
Okay, the motion to approve the district requests and fundraiser activities has been properly made by Ms. King and second by Mr. Butler. Is there any discussion? Okay, so the question is on the adoption of the motion to approve the field trips and fundraisers. All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, the motion passes unanimously. Mr. Austin?
Good evening, Board Chair, Vice Chair, Board members, Superintendent Dr. Bullard, constituents in person and virtually. I am presenting information as it relates to our monthly financial report ending February 28th, 2025. To build support our vision of generate excellence, one team, one goal, and our mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. In our first column, general funds, revenue, we have collected 75% as it relates to our budget amount. Expenditures, 68%, and we are 67% into the fiscal year. $760,640 more in revenue than expenditures for general fund as of February 28, 2025. Debt service fund, we have fulfilled all our debt service obligations as it relates to any bond debt, special revenue funds, particularly all title funds, IDEA, 34% of the total budget has been reimbursed. Capital projects, we've exhausted our bond funds, so this is more particular and referring to SPLOST-related projects, 34%. And school nutrition, 88% of the revenue has been collected, 78% has been expended, 84,763 more revenue than expenditures. At this time, all net changes are positive for us month end for February 28, 2025. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns?
Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Olson. Dr. Griffin Stewart and Mr. Ingram, is he?
He's here.
Or you gonna go solo?
Good afternoon again, Chair Karstoffen, Vice Chair Rouse, board members, Superintendent Dr. Mac Bullard, all of our stakeholders in person and virtually. It brings me great pleasure to share our NWA MAP assessment updates. But before I can share that information, we are a district with a vision and a mission. Our vision is generating excellence, one team, one goal. And our mission is to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. This presentation is aligned to strategic goals 1 and 2, learning and wellness for all, excellence ahead, academics, facilities, and opportunities. The NWA MAP growth assessment started this year for our high school students. NWEA represents Northwest Evaluation Association, and MAP represents Measures of Academic Progress. This assessment is a computer adaptive test designed to measure students' academic growth and inform instruction by adjusting to each student's individual needs. The purpose is a formative assessment program that helps teachers, families, and administrators identify students' strengths, areas for growth, and what material students are ready to learn. Additional information about the MAP growth, again, it's adaptive in nature. The frequency is that students, our high school students, normally take the MAP growth test 2 times per year. The content, it covers reading and math, but it's also course-specific tests in algebra, geometry, and biology. Reporting, MAP test scores are reported using the RIT scale, which measures the student's academic achievement and potential growth. As a district, we use these results this year for grade levels, subject area, school, and school district for a variety of purposes. Again, it's about informing instruction, monitoring student progress, and areas for intervention. This year, our high school students, experience map for the first time in November. That was our first assessment window, and the second assessment window just ended not too long ago. It was this month. What subject areas and grade levels were assessed? We had English 9th and 10th, American Literature, Algebra 1, and Geometry. So our map results, what did they reveal? What you have in front of you, board members, is a scale, and the red represents our students from 1 to 25th percentile. The orange represents the next level from 26 to like the 40th percentile. The yellow represents from about the 60th percentile to the 70th percentile. And then the green and the blue represent students who are proficient. So when you look at that, I want you to think about the Georgia milestones. The red would represent beginning learner. The orange would represent developing learner, and so would some of the yellow. The yellow could be developing learner, moving to proficient learner, but the green and the blue represents proficient or distinguished. So if you look, you will see in the fall, we were at 44th percentile. And if you see, we had 26% of our students out of 50 tested in the red. We had 18% in the yellow, 32% in, the orange, 32% in the yellow, 20% in the green, and 4% in the blue. So we want students to be in the green and the blue. We took it in the spring, and as you can see, we moved up some percentiles to 46 percentile. That red did decrease, and so our students moved to 32% in the orange, 26% in the yellow, 26% in the green, and 4% in the blue. English 10, we had our students at 39 percentile in the beginning. So you see the scale score, and if you do the comparison, you will see that during the winter, we increased 40 to the 48th percentile. So we see that we had more students in the green category as well as the blue. And so we're seeing students increase, and we're seeing a couple of decreases, but it still increased overall in our percentile. That was English 10. American Literature, we see that we were at the 48th percentile. So 13% of our students were in the red out of 30. 20% of those students were in the orange. The gold was 30% in the green, and 7% in the blue. As you see, we moved up to the 51st percentile, and we see that more students moved to the blue category from the green, and we did have some more students to move into the yellow. So that was our ELA. So when we look at map results for Algebra 1, as you see, we were in the 25th percentile in the beginning. So we had 41% of our students in the red, 23% in the orange, 16% in the yellow, green 18%, 2% in the blue. During our spring or semester, or the spring window, we had 21%, so we did see a decrease. We had more students to decrease, 49%, 23% in the orange, 18% in the yellow, 10% in the green. So that was our Algebra 1 students. Our geometry students, we also seen a decrease in our geometry students. We tested 41, and as you see, we were at 39% in the beginning in red, 17% in orange, 19% in yellow, 15% in green, 10% in blue. So as you see, we decreased. We had 51% during the second administration, 12% in orange, 27% in yellow, 5% in green, and 5% in blue. So what we're gonna do now is take a deeper dive into the data a little more. So our assistant principal from the middle high school, Mr. Ingram, will come and do a deeper dive on this data. Mr. Ingram.
Thank you. Good evening, Board Chair Christopher, Vice Chair Mr. Rouse, Board members, Superintendent Dr. Bullard, constituents, our virtual constituents as well. We've already established the vision and mission statements. Let's go into a deeper dive of the map results. So we looked at each student's progress, and if you look at our 9th grade literature, what percentage of our students made progress? 63% of our students made progress from the fall administration of the test to the current administration that we had, which numbered 34 students. In 10th grade, we had 70% of our students to make progress, with the number being 33. And in American literature, our 11th graders, 69% of our students made progress, with that number being 29. Okay. What are our next steps for our ELA students? Next slide. We want to provide small group instruction based on their needs, based on these MAP scores, and continue to align instruction according to their weighted ELA standards, based on their Georgia Department of Educational Instructional Blueprints. So we still want to look at those standards, work with those standards they're not proficient or strong with, and we're still pushing those standards for the rest of the school year. We provide 2-week common assessments. Those are the same tests provided by a professional, not one of the teachers, and outside tests, no more than 5 to 10 questions, and we'll see if those students are rated to be proficient and move to the next level. And those who are not proficient, we continue to support those students in ELA. We want to support our ELA teachers in the root words, the prefix and suffixes initiative that's been going on all year. And the premise of that is to increase the vocabulary skills. The students, we want to get them exposed as much words as possible, but if they haven't seen those words before, they can look at either the root word, either the prefix or suffix, and if they know that, they can pretty much figure out the definition of that word and be able to use it in a sentence proficiently. We want to do spiral reviews until the administration of the American Literature Test. So we're going to keep reviewing the standards. Once we finish those particular standards, we want to keep it fresh in the student's mind so they'll be proficient on the test when it comes to the Georgia milestones. Okay. Looking at our map results, we had 54% of our students make gains between the fall and the winter administration of the MAP test, which turns out to be 27 students. We had 58% of our geometry students to make gains, which turns to be 25 students. What are our math initiatives, our next steps? As a team, math team, we reviewed all the algebra scores, and those algebra domains, we crosswalked them with the MAP assessment domains. So we looked at all of the domains in the map, we looked at each student to see what area they were proficient, what areas they need help, and we broke them up, and we're gonna break them up into small groups to make sure they are proficient before the milestones. We layered our support for algebra students who decreased the MAP scores. These students were placed in small groups that focus on the heavily weighted standards based on the blueprints of the Georgia Department of Education. So these are the ones that highest percentage, those domains are highest percentage. We layered our small groups based on those domains so we can heavy hit those big domains that are needed. What does that look like? We have additional math support provided for students during our 6-period class until the end of course test. For example, Mr. Fitzpatrick and Ms. Denson, she'll be working with small groups of students with the greatest needs. Those are the ones you saw that are in red. Okay? Ms. Lena, Ms. Persis, and Ms. Clark will be working with those who are in the orange and yellow. So think of the reds or the ones that are level 1 area. The level orange and yellows, they're the level 2 y'all developing. Level 1, beginning. Level 2, orange and yellow, are developing. And then Mr. Kostafrin has come in and worked with our students who are proficient and higher. These are our level 3 proficient students that we project, and our level 4 distinguished students that we project on the Georgia milestone. He's been working with them. He will continue to provide even support and acceleration for those level 3 and level 4 students. We'll continue also in math. We do our 2-week common week assessments, 5 to 10 math problems provided by a math consultant. It's not by the teachers, but they're the same questions for each class. All the algebra students receive those same questions. Then the geometry students receive them on their domain as well. Okay? And we'll also do spiral review and algebra. We'll continue to review those areas as needed for the school year. Are there any questions? Yes, ma'am.
How long have we had the smaller groups, the extra help to work with the smaller groups? How long has that been going on?
We started off with the,
Got a lottery or?
yes. We did start off with our smaller groups at the beginning of the year because we had the 8th grade milestones for our Algebra 1 students, and we had the Algebra 1 end of course test for our geometry students. However, there are still areas of need, so we continued with small groups as well. And we brought in Mr. Fitzpatrick, Mr. Christopher to help us out. We've been working with the ones since school has started, but we've provided additional adults to bring in so we can have even smaller groups.
How do you, in the deep dive, how do you, how do you explain or what have you seen to cause a decrease or from 39% in the red to, well, I say a decrease from 39% in the red and the 51% going from the 28th percentile to the 20th percentile?
Right. So if you'll look at the map test results for the fall with the Algebra 1 students, there was a decrease from 41% to 49% students in the red. Now, mind you, there are 51% students who are testing. So if you look, that's an 8% gain, 8% loss. That's 4 students. We're going to target those 4 students and get them to where they need to be. Okay, so that is 8%, but you're looking at 4 children. Likewise, with your geometry, it went from 39% to 51% in the red. That's 12%. You're looking at about 6 students who we got to specifically target to get them to the level 2, at least level 2 to make gains.
Would, when I say you look in, just would just recently they talked about the absentee rate. Would that have, based on the few students you're mentioning, would that have anything to do with the decrease?
Absentees have made an impact on the scores, on some of the scores. I'd have to look at them at each student specifically to tell you what the reasoning was, but absences, attendance does make an impact.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question. My question is, first of all, I want to say thank you for everything that y'all done, all the growth, all the things that are good. But the math really is concerning. And so I guess my question would be, as a board member, as a part of the community, what else can we do? Is there anything else that we're thinking about? I know we're talking about the small groups and different things that we're going to do. But for the next school term, what else do y'all think we can do if this is an issue that we see as a problem with the mathematics?
So for the next school year, we've got to continue to work with our math teachers on pedagogy and just knowing how to teach those math standards, and just being realistic with really our retention and who we recruit for our math teachers. They've got to have more of a background in math, because a lot of times now it's slim with traditional teachers now, and so a lot of times when we get teachers in, we're teaching them how to be teachers the same time they're working with students. I can say that we are encouraged by our recent hire, because this young lady who will be joining us, she went through an education program, she done student teaching, and math is her background. So all of that makes a big difference. And so it's got to be the teacher and continuing to build the teachers that we have.
I have a question. So when you doing these different extracurricular activities, so when it comes to the end of the test, you're going to be testing them before the end of the test to see if they have improved, or are you going to just wait to the end of the test, end of the year test?
Yes, ma'am. We have those 2-week common assessments. We'll be able to see those again at least twice
Okay.
before the Georgia milestones. So we'll be able to do that at least twice. May 6th, 7th is American Lit. May 8th starts the Algebra 1. Got May 13th and 14th. May 13th, 12th. I had May 8th on May 13th, U.S.
Okay.
History, Biology, May 14th.
Gotcha.
So I know board members that our results can look bleak, because they do look bleak right now. But it's still a prediction, because the Georgia milestone seals the deal. In my experience as an administrator, sometimes it can look that way and then you get better results, and sometimes it could be all green and it could go the other way. So I just want to remind you that these are just predictions along the way, because we seal the deal once we take the Georgia milestones. That's really where we nail it shut. But these are great predictors, but it still could be higher.
I want to just say, with the monitoring, how often are y'all still in the school? Dr. Bullock and yourself, are y'all in the school, on the ground, I mean, seeing really what's going on?
We are definitely there, especially when we're doing our walkthroughs, because our walkthroughs are where it matters the most when we're doing those instructional walks, because we're getting a picture of what's going on in classrooms. And so Dr. Bullard is there as well, and as well as the rest of senior cabinet.
Okay, so, go ahead, Mike.
I've been working with a few of the kids, and I made some observations. And a lot of what I'm seeing has nothing to do with what they're getting this year. It has a lot to do with what happened in the past or didn't happen in the past. I'm seeing a lot of holes in the learning. And another thing I'm noticing, while I understand they're going to take the test on a computer, I suggest take away the calculators, take away the computers, pull out paper and pencil, make them use their minds. And I'm just talking about from experience, and I remember I used to take away calculators and then give instruction on when and when not to use a calculator. And I'm working with these young people, these few young people that I'm working with. I gave them something that said, don't use a calculator, but what I was shocked to realize is that they don't even have a calculator. It's all on the computer. Now, fortunately, there's no computers in the classroom that I'm using, so they have to use their brain. And here, what I'm finding out is these kids are not dumb. They just have not had they just lacking a lot of basic knowledge in order to do algebra or geometry. And you're right, you need teachers that understand math, but more than that, understand how to diagnose the holes in their learning and fill those holes as you teach the unit. But I see a lot of holes. Something as simple as multiplication. You can't do simplifying radicals unless you know your multiplication table. You can't factor a polynomial unless you know your multiplication table. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of, anyway, all I'm saying is from the elementary all the way up through, take away those calculators and make them use their brain. And I'm not against technology, but when they get addicted to the technology, I have walked around observing students and I see a mistake on their paper and I'll ask the question, what is 2 times 6? They reach for the calculator. And they know what 2 times 6 is. Let me stop. but yeah, there's a lot that needs to be addressed. And it's not just right there in your high school. First grade need to be learning multiplication tables. I certainly hope, I haven't walked in a first grade math class, but I certainly hope they don't have a calculator in their hand. Second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade. I'm too old to come out of retirement. I'm enjoying my retirement, but these things need to be addressed not at the high school level, not just at the high school level. Sure, you need to work on that, but it needs to go all the way back. And they need to be familiar with the technology, but they don't need to use it all of the time. It's dumbing them down. That's all I got to say. I
So,
got
Mr.
lot more to
Kirkstaffen,
say.
I thank you because I am an old school person. And so I do believe that the more we use paper and pencil, the more it will stick and we can remove the crutches. But we know that students use technology all the time. So it's a matter of taking everything you said, and with leaders are listening, as well as teachers, because a lot of teachers listen, as well as our parents and our students. So I hope that, what you just shared, it resonates not just with us in this room, but with every parent listening, every student listening, as well as every teacher listening. How do we balance the technology piece? Because we want our students to get out in society and be able to compete and be productive citizens.
Dr. Bullock, could you sum it up for us, please, and give us some more information when you observe of what's going on in our school?
I have something to say too.
You want to go ahead, Mr. Butler?
Yes, sir. I want to make a comment to Dr. Griffin. I want to say, I know you said it seemed bleak or gleam for us right now, but I think we are encouraged, but we just have to have those painful conversations. If the vision is to create one goal, one team, and generate excellence, we have to be willing, from staff to everybody on the staff, we have to be willing to have these conversations because we want more for our students. I think that's the sentiment of our board, is that this is an issue. This is not a pointing finger, but more so of identifying the issues that we're saying, listen, we got to give this to our constituents and the students of this county. They deserve this. And so we want to make sure that we all are on the same board. This is the only time we have to have this conversation with you guys openly to say, listen, that we do want to see better and we want to support you guys. But this is important. It's an important thing because we're saying we're going to try to give the best education we can. And I believe that we are. But I think we all have to be willing to have the tough and the painful parts of the conversation in order for us to grow as a community and to deal with this issue that is at hand, which is right now dealing with our math score. How do we become better? And so I do appreciate the work that everybody's doing. But in order for us to do that, we have to have these type conversations and listen to one another.
And I couldn't agree with you more.
Absolutely, board members. I am also in agreement that it is these kinds of conversations that have to be had. That's the purpose of having these assessments prior to milestones. It lets us know where our students are, and it helps them to know as well where they are. Students also have to have ownership. Parents have to take ownership. Teachers have to take ownership. Leaders have to take ownership. Our community has to take ownership as well. This is not something that happens just from first period. If they have a first period algebra class, this goes into the home. It goes into the churches. This is not just something that starts at the schoolhouse door. So we all have to work together to make sure that what we see, this is showing us an area that we have to bind together to address for our kids. There is no one group that is responsible for those math scores. We all are responsible for them. And we have to ensure that, as a school district, that we make sure that our teachers have the standards that they need, the materials that they need, that they have the training that they need. But we also need to make sure that students come to school every day. We had 30% of our students who missed 10% or more of their school days. We can't teach them if they're not there. So we have to ensure that they're there, and we have to ensure that we are demonstrating excellence too. As I said, we take accountability for our role, but we want parents and the community to know that we also depend on them as well to make sure the students are there, and that when we send things home for students to do, that they're engaged in making sure that they're doing it. I heard a lot of great things that were said. Dr. Griffin-Stu said the milestones is where the buck stops. I agree. These assessments give us a prediction of where our kids are going to be. And because we have such small groups of students, that 4 students makes that 8% look wider than it is. However, we have to make sure that what those 4 students are, this is not just about a number. It's about a child and a name and a family. So we need to make sure that every individual student, those 4 students who made that 8%, those 6 students who made that 12%, get exactly what they need. That's the purpose of the small groups. And those small groups will continue even beyond our milestone assessment, because as Mr. Karstoffen said, we have a lot of gaps that need to be closed that happen prior to kids getting in the 9th grade for algebra. So we have gaps that still need to be closed. We appreciate this board support. Again, it'll take the entire village to make a difference with these math scores. You see we're doing well in language arts. We're doing well in that area, but we have an area that we can bind together and we can unify, and that's in the area of math. Every family, every community member, every organization in our community can help bind together to make sure our students have what they need in the area of math. We appreciate your support.
Are there any other questions, comments? Listen, y'all, I ain't got nothing against y'all. Thank you for
Thank you, sir.
all you do.
Thank you.
You still up?
I am.
Okay,
One
go
more
ahead.
presentation. Go ahead, Steve. Okay. Okay, I'm waiting on you. So the Georgia Milestones end of course test updates. The vision and mission have been established. Our strategic goals are the same from the previous presentation. So our Georgia Milestones is designed to provide students with information about their achievement and their readiness for the next level of learning, be it the next grade, the next course, or post-secondary endeavors. Parents, schools, and districts, the public and policymakers use results, of course, to monitor progress and support the improvement of the Georgia education system. Our Georgia Milestones testing dates for our 3rd through 8th grade are as follows. We will start testing on April the 22nd, 6th through 8th. We will start with our middle schoolers. It will be section 1. When we move to April the 23rd, we will have our 3rd through 8th, and we will start with section 1 with our elementary, and then we will move to our last 2 sections with 6th through 8th. As you see, April the 24th, we will focus on ELA and social studies. April 25th will be a makeup day. April 29th, we will start with our math. April 30th, in the science sections. May 1st will be a makeup day. So our Georgia Milestones on 4 levels. Level 1 is beginning learner. We earn 0 points if students are rated at a level 1. Level 2, developing learner. That's where our students will earn half a point. Level 3 is proficient learner, 1 point earned, and distinguished learner is 1.5 points earned. This year, students in grades 3, 5th, and 8th are required to make the following designation in order to be promoted to the next grade for the 25-26 school year. So 3rd grade in ELA, they have to score developing learner or higher. 5th grade and 8th grade, they have to score developing learner or higher in both ELA and math. This year, we are going to return to do retest dates. So our 3rd, 5th, and 8th will take reading on May 20th. 5th and 8th will take math on May 21st. And 3rd, 5th, and 8th will have a makeup day. So students in 3rd, 5th, and 8th will be required to attend the Summer Opportunity Program if they do not earn a developing or higher designation during the retake administration of the Georgia Milestones. What's the benefits of retesting? Teachers and students will have another opportunity to review the Georgia Milestones data and have a second opportunity to practice those high-weighted standards with students in those math and ELA classrooms. It's just a second opportunity for students in 3rd, 5th, and 8th to demonstrate mastery, because some students don't always score. They might need a second time. And teachers can provide additional support and practice again with the math and ELA standards. The Summer Opportunity Program dates are as follows: June the 2nd through the 5th, June 9 through 12, June 16th through 18th. More information regarding the Summer Opportunity Program is forthcoming. And again, those students in grades 3 through 8th will receive additional interventions during the Summer Opportunity Program. But our 3rd, 5th, and 8th will definitely be our target grades. At the end of the summer, if those students have to go to summer school, we will have a placement meeting in July for about retention, administrative placement, or promotion options for the upcoming year. Moving on to our end of course testing grades. High school students enrolled in courses designed by the State Board of Education, end of course assessments are in the following areas. Again, biology, algebra 1, American literature, and U.S. history. So after we're done with our middle schoolers and our elementary students, we will start with our American literature on May 6th and 7th, algebra 1 on May 8th, U.S. history on May 13th, biology May 14th, and then we'll have a makeup day on May the 15th. Same for our high schoolers. Students are required to make the following designation on the end of course subject areas: biology, developing or higher, U.S. history, developing or higher, algebra 1, developing or higher, and American literature. And so for students to be promoted to the next grade for the 2025-26 school year or to graduate, they have to make a developing or higher on one of these. End of course assessments will count for 20% of the student's final grade and will serve as the final exam. End of course students with a passing score in the course, for example, if they have a 90 in the course but did not meet the assessment requirement, will receive an in-progress mark on their report card and will be required to attend the Summer Opportunity Program. Parents again will be invited to attend a placement meeting in July for retention, administrative placement, promotion, as well as graduation options. So again, there is the key. Again, we want all of our students to be a proficient learner. However, I do want to stress that if students are a developing learner, and that's half a point, that does not necessarily mean that they're proficient, but they have enough of the standards to move on to the next grade level. So they have to be a developing learner or higher. Our summer school dates again are June 2nd through the 4th, June 9th through the 12th, June 16th through the 18th, and we will retest our end of course students this summer. The Wendell is from June 10th through the 17th. Biology and U.S. history will be June 17th. American literature will be June 10th. And sections 2 and 3 will be June 11th. Algebra 1 will be June 12th. What's the benefits of students retaking the end of course test? Again, to provide a second opportunity for students to practice and demonstrate the mastery of standards. Ensure the final grade in the course correlates to the end of course conversion score of level 2 or higher. So again, if those students are earning a 90, their conversion score should be at least proficient, but developing or higher is the standard. Ensure students are ready for post-secondary options or can just matriculate successfully to the next grade level. So how have we been communicating this information? Sent letters home with students in grades 3 through 8, as well as our high school end of course test students regarding the end of grade and end of course. And information about the summer opportunity program is included. Additional information will go home today. Ms. Jenkins did have a parent meeting today, so those letters were given out again at her meeting today at 5. JES, as well as the Twiggs County Middle High School, these are things ongoing. Teachers and administrators will continue coaching and working with students in terms of staying focused on the Georgia milestones. Multiple meetings with grade levels and end of course test students have occurred throughout this school year. It's really to encourage those students to show up for the test and do their very best. Ongoing, school leaders communicating expectations on the weekly news broadcasts that they do on their social media outlets and remind. District support, we will be visiting classrooms of those end of course test students and some of our Georgia milestone students, just to encourage students to do their best, because if students do their best, that's all we can ask them to do. District support, communicate through a district level remind and social media outlet, so you will start seeing yours truly on a short video clip, just encouraging those parents to really help push the students to do their best, because testing can be a little anxiety for students, but we want them to be relaxed and as calm as they can be and go in and just apply what they've learned during the year. Parents can communicate with school leaders regarding the end of course, as well as GMAS expectations. Parents can also call Teaching and Learning Department with questions, as the contact information was included on the flyer, so they know they can call if they have a question. I'll be happy to meet with them as well. And then district support. Again, I will be sending out a message from my office about the retake expectations, and it will be posted on our website. Are there any questions?
Questions? Thank you, Dr. Gibbs.
Thank you, board member.
Appreciate you. Let's see. At this time, we're going to move into executive session. I want to thank each one of you for being here tonight. Of course, you're welcome to stay. We'll be back. But can I get a motion for us to move into, an executive session is a time where we talk about personnel decisions and litigation, possible litigation, purchases and computer cyber security, which we can't make public. So with that, can I get a motion to move to an executive session? Second. All right, the motion has been properly made by Ms. Blackshear, second by Mr. Rouse, that we move into executive session. All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, can I get a motion for us to adjourn from executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, the motion has been properly made by Ms. King and second by Mr. Rouse. The question is on the motion to return from executive session. Any questions? All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, the motion passes unanimously. Next. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation for new hires as well as resignations? The new hire, 5153, EID, CID, and EID 3477. Hang on a second. Get my help. 3437 and 3442 and 3446. Can I get a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation on both the new hires and the resignations?
I'll make that motion.
I move that motion.
Okay, the motion has been properly made by Mr. Rouse and second by Ms. Blackshear that we approve the superintendent's recommendation for the new hires and the resignations. Any questions? Okay, then all in favor, raise your hands. And the motion passes unanimously. Are there any other motions that need to be made at this time?
I make a motion to approve the Department of Justice School Safety Equipment identified in the grant proposal and the Arctic Wolf pending completion of the required competitive and non-competitive proposal process outlined in the federal programs handbook.
Okay, can I get a second?
I second it.
Okay, the motion has been made by Ms. King and second by Mr. Butler to approve the Department of Justice School Safety Equipment identified in the grant program as PLUS and the Arctic Wolf pending completion. Required competitive and non-competitive proposal process outlined in the federal program handbook. Is there any discussion or question at this time? If none, all in favor, raise your hand. Okay, the motion passes unanimously. Dr. Bullitt, do you have any other business?
Mr. Chair, that concludes all of our business on tonight.
All right, thank you. Can I get a motion for us to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, the motion to adjourn has been properly made by was that Ms. Blackshear? Ms. King, and second by Mr. Butler. Any questions? All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, this meeting is adjourned.